Report to the clouds. So go ahead, Irene.
Okay. Our mission statement. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and allow for open dialogue. Attendance today at the Helping Parents Heal meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally.
Thank you. That was perfect. And I just want to say, first of all, that Tina Powers is a close friend of mine. I feel like I'm so grateful for the fact that she was one of the first people that I met on this journey. She's also a close friend of Suzanne Wilson's, so it was very exciting in the very beginning of this journey to be able to get validations from both Tina and from Suzanne that were exactly the same, coming from two different mediums. And that really validated what was happening with Morgan. But anyway, Tina is located in Tucson, Arizona. And I'll just read her bio very quickly. Tina Powers is a former news anchor and reporter who now works as a professional medium and receives psychic messages. As she laughingly says, it's reporting for the other side. Sensitive since childhood, Tina felt the presence of people and animals who had crossed over, but the intuitive information became a much more powerful force after she made the decision to leave the harsh reality of television news. She has authored 2 books and has assisted in experiments with the world-renowned scientist and author, Dr. Gary Schwartz. To learn more about her or to book a session, please visit her website at www.tinapowers.com. And I just very quickly have to say that I was told by Mark Ireland that she would be a really good person to see in Tucson. And my daughter's roommate at the University of Arizona, her mother had passed almost exactly at the same time as my son passed the year before. She had never been to see a medium, and she was having a really hard time. So they booked a session in October on the angel date of her mom. And Alix and her roommate took this other girl with them in a taxi to see Tina in the pouring rain, kind of on the other side of Tucson. And Tina was so compassionate and so impressed that these girls would all come together to be able to find out about how this mom was doing. Turned out that Morgan came through in the reading, and he told Tina that she had to call me and give me a free reading. And it turned out that it was on All Saints Day that she called me, which was very significant for us. My husband's French, and that is a very significant day in France for families who have someone who's passed. And so we went down there, and the things that Tina told me were exactly the same things that Suzanne Wilson had already told me in her reading, and that Morgan was hiking in heaven with this other boy, Brian. So it was all very validating and amazing. And I don't want to take any more of your time, Tina. So without further ado, please welcome Tina Powers.
Oh, thank you all for being here today. What a time on the earth as well, right? I think we're all asked to go deeper inside of our hearts, inside of ourselves, and I do hope that a lot of you have had experiences during this time of your loved ones, of your children, and affirmations happening, because the whole world has quieted down. And I think internally we're hearing a lot better than we were. Thank you, Elizabeth, for that really wonderful introduction. I do believe in destiny points in our lives, and I think we all have them with various people, and I'm really fortunate enough to have met Elizabeth and had the opportunity to speak to her son in the other world. I didn't start off thinking that I would ever be doing this work. So I'm in the same boat as a lot of you. I'm very surprised that I'm here. For the last 16 years, though, this is what I've been called to do. But I will tell you, when I was a little kid, I used to sometimes see apparitions or people in my room, and it would scare the heck out of me. I didn't know what it was. Of course, I didn't know what a medium was, and my parents thought that I was just being a drama queen. I said, no, there are people there. And then I started hearing information, people talking, and you can all just nod your heads, but have you ever heard before your name or words said to you, inside your mind, or it's called direct voice outside, right? So I started to hear that, and I'm pretty sure they used to put people on lithium for that. But it turns out my great-grandmother apparently used to hear. And so the clairaudience is a really strong tool for me. As I grew up, I went into newscasting. And what was really interesting is that I learned through that, because some of it's so negative, obviously, but some of it was so wonderful. I had the wonderful opportunity of meeting Rosa Parks and interviewing her, and realizing, because I asked her, and probably for the millionth time, I asked her, how come you didn't move on the bus? And she just said she was too tired. And in that moment, it helped me remember that one small movement, that all of us make a difference. And when we stand in our truth, and when we listen to ourselves, and, some people, coming from the news, they were like, well, now Tina is a medium, really? And, what happened to Tina? And what happened to Tina is that I started following my own path. I started listening to what I was receiving. I had a moment, and it was very interesting. I was at the scene of a drive-by shooting. So in the news business, you see a lot of really tragic incidences, called to many places, and this little boy, a 13-year-old, had been killed by a gang shooting. And when I got to the scene, I was one of the first ones there. And I don't know about all of you, but we have aha moments in our lives, at different points where, everything shifts. And for me, witnessing his father come to the scene, I realized that I could no longer be part of a problem of reporting the news, that I needed to be part of a solution. And at that point, I believe I transferred over to being more of a grief counselor instead of a reporter. But the 13-year-old boy from the other world was the one that really turned my whole world around and set me on this course. So it was a child. I, just thinking of him, I can almost tear up. So what happened for me is that when I left television news, because obviously I wasn't popular anymore, because I promised the father I would not follow him around like reporters do, and that I would leave him alone after we talked, but that I wanted to do a story on his son and what his son loves. And I talked about his son in the present. What does he love? Tell me about him. I always knew that it was the feeling that was important in a story. So he said, I'll talk to you as long as you don't follow me. So I promised I wouldn't, went back to the news station. They said, we're sending you back out to this story. I said, no, I'm sorry. My word means more than this job. And I think for all of us standing in our own truth at a certain point in time, we know what we know. Now, because I was interested in the mystical, and because I always knew that there was another reality, I just knew this from a very young age, but I didn't have the words for it. when I got out of television news, sort of the static in my brain from all of the negative news, it started to dissipate, and I started to hear again and see again from when I was a little kid. And I'll never forget, I was sitting with my mother-in-law at the time, and I heard inside my mind the word Lottie, really loud, Lottie, and I thought, lottery? And have any of you heard, very loud voices, but they sound a little bit like you, but not quite like you, like that they're an overlay. So what happened is I said, because the voice was so loud inside my mind, I said, does the word Lottie mean anything to you? And she said, well, I had an Aunt Charlotte we used to call Lottie, but she passed 30 years ago. And then what happened is I saw a shoe in my mind's eye, a shoe floating. So sometimes it's like a movie screen inside my mind. And I said, I see a shoe. She said, well, she had a shoe store in Britain. And then what happened is her mother came through and said she was so sorry for being so critical to her. And it went on. It was very organic. At the end of all of this, what happened was I heard the name Harry Horn. Now, sometimes I hear names. Sometimes I get that they're a child, a girl child, a boy. It just depends on what channel and how they're speaking with me. But I heard the name Harry Horn. And I said, does anyone know Harry Horn? And they were like, no, because by this time the whole family had gathered around. They said, you lost it. I was like, okay. 2 weeks later, I pick up my father at the airport. He says to me, you had this second cousin. You would have loved him. He was a journalist, and he passed, and I'm sorry you didn't meet him. His name was Harry Horn. So at that moment, I went, this is real. This is absolutely real. And so this kept happening over and over again. Now, sorry about the phone. Somebody's calling. And I do use humor, and I've always known that joy and laughter, although we can go to those really, I think the human experience is we go to these places that can be so full of grief that we don't know if we can get up the next day. We don't know if we can face it. And then somehow a grace comes over. A grace comes over, and then the grace helps us be able to go to the next day, and then the next day. So what happened for me is that, things were validated, and then people started calling. And I had said a prayer, and I want to, whether it's meditation, whether you believe in higher power, source, whatever your belief system is, I put it out there that I wanted to use my gifts and talents that I came into this lifetime with, that anything that I was good at, that I use this and that I use it to my full capacity, so it mattered that I was here in the world. And then what happened from there is people started calling, and here we are. So I had this greatest teacher that said to me, Tina, for as right as you can be, don't be afraid to be wrong. And so my guides have put me in a lot of different scenarios. I remember there were 200 New Yorkers. 200 New Yorkers who, definitely didn't want to believe in the app. They were very skeptical, and skeptical is fine. There's healthy skeptical, and then there's this other skeptical. And then I learned, there's a mean skeptical too. And we all learn to deal with, especially those of us that do this work are very sensitive, and I always go back to, what is the intention? Is the intention to help and heal? Is the intention to bring something through that will be meaningful for somebody else, and perhaps give them whatever they need to take another day, to do the foundation, to write the book, to know that there was a soul contract with your child, and so it's been a very, very interesting journey. Now, through these years, I have learned, clairvoyance. It's in Hollywood. We always, it's like, they're always talking outside and the apparitions and all of this. And that can happen, but more often than not for all of us, it happens inside our brain, inside our mind. It's almost like has anybody experienced that where they see their loved one in a meditation? They see their face very close. That's real. And then you have a conversation with them and you start trusting it. Now, I've learned, because there are doubters everywhere, and I'll tell you one thing. I mean, I every day I just try to show up and open, have faith, and do the best I can. But, certainly this is unusual work, and not everybody is on board. So what I want to say to you, for all of you, there are a lot of people that they haven't had this reality happen to them yet. So I always say, when you have these beautiful experiences with your loved ones, don't go running to the person that's going to shut you down. It's really easy to do that because we want to go, see, look at it's real, but until that person has their own opening, they're just not going to be able to go there. But you're an example for them. You're the example. And, dream time, I found that a lot of my loved ones come to me during the dream time, and visitations are pretty amazing. And I actually know this woman who she meets with her loved one in dreams all the time. So she said, Tina, I feel like I have 2 lifetimes going on here. And I said, well, it sounds like you do, but you'll always know you had a visitation, because when you have a regular dream, you know how you wake up in the middle of the night, you go, oh, I'm going to write that down. That was so intense. I can still feel that. I'm going to take that into the waking hours with me. And then somehow it gets away, right? It like fades into the day. Well, with a visitation, it stays with you. You saw your loved one. You saw your child. Maybe you didn't say anything, but you had words go back and forth telepathically. Maybe you did say something and you recall that. One of the first ones that came through to me was my grandfather, and he didn't believe in any of this. He was a physician. And he would always say, Tina, what are you doing with all of this? What did he call it? Hocus pocus. So he was one of the first ones that I heard clairaudiently, and also has come to me in my dreams multiple times. So a lot of times the ones on the earth that didn't believe are now in the light, and they're like, oh, okay, there's a larger picture, and they're helping me, which is so amazing. So now I was in the Netherlands last year, and they said, we have to take you to this village. And in this village, there are going to be some signs there for you. So I look, and there is a hocus pocus shop. I'm like, hi, Granddad. So the dream time, though, the Iroquois Indians, they believe the dreams are as important as the conscious time we have. And in fact, they reenact their dreams many times. But just even a show of hands, how many of you have had a dream about your loved one and a visitation there? I love that. And would it be okay, Elizabeth, and if anyone wanted to share their dream? Does anybody feel comfortable with that?
That's fine with me. Yes, definitely. Is somebody speaking right now? Who is it that's...
It's Mary. I don't have my picture up because I've been crying all day.
Oh.
Just, I can't even tell you why today, because it's just, I was outside in the sun.
Yeah, but now we can't see anything. Oh, I think we can see the lady.
Yeah, I don't have my picture up. But what happened was I was meditating. I was thinking about my son, and it just really, I'm thinking about how sensitive and what the type of kid he was, and I just felt like, why couldn't I have saved you? It's just, and that just triggered me for the day. But what I wanted to say was, in 2001, when my baby passed, she had been killed. It was devastating. I didn't think I was going to live through that. And then one night, I not to speak of religion, but Blessed Mother put her in my arms. I had her all night long. I could feel her. I could touch her. I could smell her. And I had no idea at that time what that even was. All I know, it was so beautiful and so real, and not even knowing what it was, I said, Blessed Mother, thank you for that. You never have to do that again, because I got to hold her again, and that's what I wanted. Never even knowing that there was even such a thing as a visitation dream. I never even heard that before. And that's how real it was, that I knew, not even knowing about visitation dreams, that I even knew that was real. So it was so beautiful, and it stayed with me for forever, since 2001.
Oh,
Thank you, Mary. That's
I love that.
wonderful.
Thank you, Mary.
And I wanted to say that Cindy is saying that she'd like to share as well. Cindy, would you like to unmute yourself, or do you want can you do that?
Yes, I can.
Okay, there, yay.
I want to say that I found this group because of Tina as well. I just want to say that because I happened to be at Miraval, and you guided me to Elizabeth. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I got on the Facebook page first before I ventured out to a meeting, but it took me about, I think, 5-6 months before I went into a meeting, and I walked in and there was all these smiling people, and I'm like, what is wrong with you people? I learned. Anyway, I'll just say, Daniel, my son's picture that he took of the Haboob of 2011 is behind me. It was in National Geographic. Anyway, he came to me in a dream. He had come to me in more than one dream, but the one that stands out is my husband was standing there talking to someone, Daniel's father, and Daniel comes walking down some stairs. And I see him walking down some stairs, but my husband and his friend don't see him. And he walks up, and I said, Daniel, I've been, where have you been? I've been missing you. Why aren't you coming to see me more often? And he goes, Mom, the provost told me that I'm an early transitioner and I need to settle down. Now, and then a lot of other stuff happened. We had a conversation. He hugged me. I know he hugged me. I felt it. But the fact that he said the provost told him. And so when I got up in the morning, I went to my computer. I didn't know what provost means, but I kind of wanted to look it up still because, it's not a word that I think of all the time. And it's like a dean of a college, head of a university. And I've heard so much that our children are learning a lot when they're there, And so the fact that he was told by his provost that he was an early transitioner and he needed to settle down.
Wow. My father told me that he had a dream and he saw this priest that he loved. And this priest was wonderful, is wonderful, I should say, Father Frank. And he said, Tina, Father Frank came to me in the dream and he started taking me on a walk. And he said, we're going to look at what you'd like to learn next time. And he said there were these buildings of knowledge, and that he started to walk through in this dream these different areas of study. So it sounds very familiar, because you think about it, we're in this dimension, in this room, and there are so many other dimensions. And this is a third, we're in 3D here, but when we go to sleep and we travel and, many other things happen, I always say, this is what I know so far. I hope I know more tomorrow. But I've been told that they're sometimes resting after they pass because, they're just needing to take a moment. I've been told that, they're back in a classroom learning maybe why, if somebody took their own life, like what the reasons were for that and how they got in that scenario. And also with some of my teachers, they've said maybe in the human span in lifetimes, depending on what your thought form is, that we have every experience there is to have to come back to the place of love within ourselves. Now, again, I always say, this is what I know so far, but how odd is it that we're here in this dimension? So of course there are other, realities. Where are they speaking to us from? Many times I'll call it almost like a green room, like you're in this Zoom room, they're in a green room in the other world. And whoever can get the attention or speak. And I feel like there are birds that are gathering around. I have to tell you, 2 finches showed up, beautiful. And also doves have been walking around all day. And a lot of times, loved ones, have you had them use an animal before to let you know that they're around? Because of course the cardinal is one that shows up. And so obviously I know I'll be doing some readings during this time that we're here together. But the biggest thing is when we receive a message from our son or daughter, our loved one, and if we start to say thank you, instead of, do you think that's really real? Or I don't know if that's true. Am I making this up? Am I crazy? If we start to go, thank you, yes, please, and more, it opens up the channel so much more. And then it goes to a different, higher level. Can you almost feel that? Right? And so always I have found when they're speaking to me, it's very succinct. It's not like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, like the ego talk, like the chatter that goes on. It's more like, tell my mom that, that she carries my watch in her purse. It's succinct. And so, you don't have to worry because they won't lead you all over the place. There'll be sometimes short sentences. Have you all heard those in your mind before? A short sentence. Also, they're divinely orchestrated events that sometimes we can you'll be thinking about somebody, right? And all of a sudden they'll call you, right? Or you'll be thinking about your son or daughter's maybe best friend. It's a birthday, whatever. And then some events come together that are really divine intervention. Have you witnessed that before? Which is really beautiful. Now, I know it's, losing a child, is probably, all of you, I just want to say how wonderful and brave you all are. And that I do believe that a grace is given to you all. And when I say grace, it's almost like an upliftment happens, and that you're able to face a new day. Now, it doesn't mean, and I know I spoke of this earlier, that we won't fall down. It doesn't mean that, that's the point where we need to reach out for help and not fall into it fully on our own. I have this horse whisperer friend that works with me at Mirabal, and he always goes, Tina, your soul has brought you this for your healing. I'm like, really? I need to sign up for something else next, and different events, right? But he said, our souls are here really, the Earth School is polar opposites, isn't it? There's love and perceived hate. There's North Pole, South Pole. There's grief, there's joy. And it is an intense learning school here. Now, I don't know if any of you have heard, it's a book by Robert Schwartz. I don't know if it's called Soul Agreement, possibly, but he talks about pre-planning before you come into this world. And I know that might be a little bit out there, but I don't know that everything's preordained or pre-planned, but I do know that certain circumstances are brought up in our lives for healing on some level. And I have to tell you, I am getting a message, and I want to ask you, does anybody have an Eric by any chance, or anybody who knows an Eric? And
if anyone does, if you could just maybe type into the chat box that you know an Eric. By the way, you're surrounded by a rainbow, Tina.
Thanks.
It's Lisa Smith. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
My videos are not up as well.
Okay.
But my son's dad is Eric.
Okay.
Valentina also has one. It's a 7-year-old child, Eric. And
Okay.
Denise also has a child. Her son is Eric. So
Okay.
just to let you know.
All right, so here we go. So here's what happens when we're in groups, because there can be a layering of messages that come through. So I want you to know that even if we go to one individual Eric, there will be things that come through for each of you that do have Erics. Now, so this, okay, the Eric that is speaking to me is somehow they're showing me they had brown hair, they had dark hair. I don't know why when they were younger they had bangs. They're showing me their bangs. They're also saying that they passed out of their body very quickly. When it happened very quickly.
Denise is saying yes. So she's saying yes to the bangs and to the dark hair. And she's saying they passed out of their body very quickly as well. So Eric did.
Okay. And there's some sort of, you know, like I'm supposed to deliver the message that it didn't hurt, that it was immediate. And Eric is a very old soul. Is there also a birthday surrounding? I feel like there may have been like a car accident or an accident happened, and that I mean, there is the biggest smile ever, I want you to know, and that Eric, he visits you all the time. Now, do you know why he would be talking about my mother's ring?
Could you unmute yourself, Denise? She's saying yes, it was a car accident. Yes, to birthday as well. Denise, can you unmute yourself and just answer Tina? Is that possible?
When this starts happening, it just comes through. So I just, you can hear me. Can I hear you? Okay. You know what I'll do? I'm just going to keep going for a little bit here, and hopefully I'll be able to hear. But if not, I know that you're receiving the information, so that's good.
What does that say right there?
No, it doesn't mean anything.
Is there also, I do see the sign of the cross a lot of times, so it's some sort of, that there is great faith. And hold on here. And again, I'm hearing the happy birthday song. And also, there's an affirmation here that from this child that you will see me again. I still work with you, and you can do this. Okay, somebody.
Hey, it's Lisa Smith jumping back on again. Sorry. My birthday was yesterday, and the ring I actually just gave to my daughter to have set for her engagement ring. So I think he's given us a hello to her as well.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, it's interesting you were saying about messages for everybody, and I'm like, oh, me, my birthday was yesterday. So, but yeah, and Nathan's angel date is this month as well. So interesting. Thank you.
And you're welcome. And hopefully for some of the others that there is also an Eric and an Eric association, that this also makes sense. Also, somebody with one of these Erics comes through with like a blackbird, like a raven or a crow as a confirmation as well. So if that hasn't happened yet, it will. I'm seeing it very clearly. Now, I have to, okay, so they're giving me another name, but what I wanted to do with everybody, because I know it's like, we'd rather have the readings, right?
Wait, Denise is saying yes, yes for the Raven. So I just want to
Oh, thank
say
you.
that. And unfortunately, she's putting it in the chat box instead of saying it herself. But I wanted to
Okay.
just give you confirmation of that.
And the confirmation, and I want to go back for a moment because this Raven, you know, in Native American, they feel that
Okay.
animals give medicine, they give gifts. And also, I have had a lot of animals come through from the other world as well. Almost as children, too, like with a similar energy, but that they have soul contracts with us as well. But the animal kingdom, the ravens are the magicians. And to remember, you know, we, as we can fall down in our thought form, all of us can get on that treadmill. Boy, that treadmill's hard, isn't it? It's like it goes over and over and over. But when we can step off the treadmill and go back up to those higher realms, and sometimes just ask your guides to take you to those higher realms, ask to be taken out of that thought form, ask to be reminded of who you really are. But the raven goes up is the magician, so can do transformation like that. And a lot of times the hawks are messengers. They're known as messengers. And but I have to tell you, I wanted to do, and I think we will in a moment, do a meditation because I wanted to lead you on one to your loved ones. However, as soon as I started to go there, I heard the name Stephen really loudly in my ear. So I will ask this, is there anyone who, where Stephen is very important? I also, oh, did somebody raise their hand? I don't, oh, we're right here. Was Susan?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Yes, my son's best friend was Stephen. He passed away before my son, right before my son, about 10 months before.
Okay. Okay, and so I also feel, okay. So your son is very funny, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like I hear all this laughter, like mischievous,
Mm-hmm.
and has been doing things I'm supposed to tell you in the home.
Yeah, I think
Turning things on and off.
locked the bathroom door.
I also saw like a light switch. So moving things and doing things in the home, and to tell you, so I have both of them here, which is wonderful.
Okay.
To also tell you, because those two did, they did a lot together, and your son is trying to tell me, okay, hold on. He says he has talked through another medium to you. Like this isn't his first go around, he's saying.
Yes.
He's starting to get good at this, he says. But he also says that he has apologized to you already, but he needs to again.
Yes.
Really, that it's not your fault. You need to know this, Mom. He says it's not your fault.
Yes.
He says that, you know, he got off path.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
And he had trouble getting back on, but this was not intentional, you understand?
Yes.
Because he's really adamant telling me, no, I didn't kill myself. He's like, no, I didn't mean to do that, but what I was doing caused that.
Yes.
And he thinks you should write, are you journaling? He thinks you should write that book.
Yeah.
He's gonna write it with you.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm talking so loud. He's just talking so loud in my ear. In this life, did he have a loud voice?
Yes.
I think he's just making sure I can hear him. I can hear you. Now, Stephen's people don't believe, don't have the same thought for him that you do.
No.
And so, Stephen's saying that it's not like you can deliver a message for him. He's
No.
sorry about this, but he's so grateful that you will receive it from him, but he's fine. And you might find a way to slip it in, but he this is what he's doing. He goes, they're like this.
Yeah.
They can't, they're not, they're just afraid. That's all.
I'm just glad that my son is with him because he had a hard time dealing with his death, and I was hoping they were together.
Well, your son wants me to tell you that right now they're together, but they don't hang out, Mom, all the time. He's funny. He's very concise.
Yeah.
He says that, yes, that they found each other. There's also grandma's here, he wants me to tell you.
Yeah.
He says grandma's here.
Okay.
And please tell you it's going to be okay.
Okay.
Because he does know the thoughts that sometimes you have. And he says, no, he promises it's going to get better.
Okay.
You're going to feel better, Mom. I promise. Please tell her I love her. He's got a dog with him, he's showing me.
Yeah.
I can just see the outline of the dog. I'm not sure what kind yet, but he's very adamant that he wants you to know this.
Okay. We had a couple dogs pass. So.
Is there one that had the white underneath, or there's white?
Yeah, that was our French bulldog.
And he also says that he's touched you before, and you've had the physicality.
I did. I was meditating one night, and I felt, because when I was at his wake, I kept rubbing his hair the whole time, and when I was meditating, I felt him rubbing my hair.
Mm-hmm. He says, yep, and he's going to do it again.
Okay.
He says you lose your keys.
No, I don't even have keys.
He's holding up.
Okay.
He's holding up a key. It looks like a key. Yeah, no, it's keys.
I don't know what that is.
Let me just double check what he wants me to say about that.
Okay.
Was there some sort of room that he had that was his, or that I don't know? I think that these keys belong to him.
I took the lock off his bedroom door. Maybe that's what I have his car keys.
He's laughing. Okay, hold on here. He's funny.
Yeah, he's very funny.
He says to please tell you not to worry. I got thank you. He wants you paying attention while you're driving.
Okay.
Nothing bad's he just says, oh, on the radio, have you noticed that he sends you music sometimes?
Yeah, not on the radio, but like I'll hear things on the computer, songs will come up that he liked. I have trouble listening to music since he passed away.
Right. He says he's going to make this happen. It looks like it's, and so whether it comes in the car, whether it comes in the computer, he's going to use music to let you know he's there. But most of all, Mom, he knows how much you needed, he needed to come through for you today.
Thank you.
He's, yep. And I feel also you're going to have a hug from him. As you had the touch, you're also going to have a hug if you haven't had it yet.
Okay, I haven't yet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Now this is, I know every time I go to do the meditation, another name comes in. So we're just, how are you guys doing? Is this good? We'll just go this direction for a bit. Yeah, okay. So the name is really, it's Troy, or somebody affiliated with a Troy.
Does anyone have an affiliation with someone whose name is Troy? If you could just put it in the chat box, that would be wonderful. That's an unusual name, so hopefully someone will identify with it. Anybody?
And hold on a moment. Let me see if.
Oh.
Okay, but sometimes, so what is happening, Elizabeth?
I was just going to say that Simone is saying that, let's see, Troy is her brother. And then Debbie is saying, my son had a friend named Troy. As far as she knows Troy is still living. And then a brother-in-law is Troy, a pastor is Troy for other people.
This is interesting. Okay, so let me just see what else they can say about with Troy. The either Troy or the person in connection, like there was the blood disease like leukemia, or there was something, it was cancerous in the bloodstream.
I don't know if any of these Troys have passed, actually. It looks like everyone is here.
Affiliate.
From what I can tell. They're just people that the different parents know from what I can see.
Okay, so what might be happening is when Stephen came through, the friend, also it can be, I have had this happen before, where they will use somebody on earth as, they'll name a couple of names sometimes. So let me just see where else this goes, and then we'll go from there, okay? Now I have to say, an affiliation with a Troy, was there anyone who passed from leukemia or in the group that spoke up or that had the blood disease?
Does anybody who just put these different messages, okay. Carol is saying that her son's friend Troy passed from blood sepsis. So this might be the right person.
Okay.
And Carol is actually one of our caring listeners. Carol, do you want to unmute yourself? Can you do that? Or I will find you.
Can you hear me?
There you are. Yes. Hi, Carol.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thanks for being here today. So Troy is in the other world and is connected with your son. Is that what it is?
That's correct.
And actually knows you.
Yes.
I'm hearing.
Yes.
And I know it's kind of obscure, but sometimes when we go into the phone booth as a medium, if they find a way to get through, they do.
One other thing is that Valentina is saying that her son passed from septic shock and he has a friend named Troy who is living, but I don't know if that is...
Well, what I think is happening is sort of the same thing I talked about that happens with a group. And we're going to go with your son's friend first. And then, hold on here, there are overlays that happen. So Troy, I don't know if you can deliver a message, but Troy really wants his family to know he's okay. Is that anything that you're able to do? And I don't, this happens sometimes.
It might not be for me because I don't know Troy's family.
Okay.
What about Valentina? Valentina, could you?
I muted myself, yes.
Okay. Hi, Valentina.
Hi.
Hey, nice to see you.
So what I want to say is, even if we can't do this, if you can't deliver the message, I don't know, Valentina, if you are able to deliver a message or the family at all. But I would say to both of you, because this Troy is, and then I'm going to turn to the next person who's here. But Troy is, I think what's going to happen for one of the two of you with the Troys is somebody in the family, either it's on like social media or something, is going to reach out. And I don't want you to have a big burden, but if it works, it works. Okay. Does that make sense? Like sometimes I'm asked to deliver messages through somebody else. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And this Troy just wanted to be heard. So we're, and that he's okay, and that there's a lot of love there. And sometimes these things make more sense a little bit later on down the line. Okay. All right.
Thank you. That's perfect. And I guess that maybe, Carol, you'll have an opportunity to deliver a message to Troy at some point.
Okay. Where are we going now? I just had somebody tell me that their name is Michael. He just said, my name is Michael. And he's definitely a son. So does anybody have a son or somebody close, Michael?
I have a Michael. Jeannie, my son too.
Okay.
So we have a few people, Teresa, Susan, I guess Jeannie as well, saying that their son is Michael. Maybe we need to listen. Oh, Lindsay as well.
Okay.
Not a Mike.
Yeah.
So I think, again, in the groups, that's what my guides do. So know that there's an overlay of messages with the group. Now, Michael. Okay, this Michael is telling me that he took his life.
Mine did. Michael did.
Okay. Oh boy, and the reason I'm saying that is because there's a lot of emotion with the message, and wants my mom. He wants his mom to know that he's okay. I mean, you two were close, weren't you?
I thought so.
Yeah, he just showed. I just saw my symbol for closeness.
Aww.
And it's still very close with you.
He does a lot of signs.
Yeah, and he's telling me he was really too sensitive for this world.
Yes.
And he also shows me a heartbreak.
Yes, that's why he did it.
And that he needs me to tell you that he just got so lost in the moment of the pain that he you can understand, but he is very sorry. I'm okay, Mom. He keeps saying, I'm okay, Mom.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Please tell her he wants you to, do you walk right now? He wants you to walk.
I need to. I should.
Mm-hmm. Well, he can talk to you while you're walking, because he says he's been giving you the message to maybe just get out and move your body or do something, right? Also, when we talk about Archangel Michael.
Oh my gosh. He just dropped a card the other night on the floor with Michael with that.
So he really wants you to know that it's him, that he's doing well in the other world. He definitely has he's got a group around him. He was very popular on the earth, wasn't he?
He had a lot of friends at the house.
Yeah, he's just very chatty. And that sometimes they watch us being so sad and so full of grief, and he says, Mom, he wants me to assure you that I will see you again. He says, hang on, it's going to be okay, but he'll see you in right timing. He's saying in God's timing, and that's why he is showing me Archangel Michael again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Whew. Now, I was just saying there's been a lot of boys that have come through today. Where are the girls? Where are the girls? Okay, so hold on here a moment. So what happens for me is when I'm tuning in, I just go to sort of an in-between place. And what I've learned is if you start to let logic mind in there while you're getting information, it's sort of like, you know, when you have a hose and you're watering the lawn. And if you step on the hose, like the water still comes out, but it's kind of sputtery. But if you step off of it, you just let the water flow. And that's for all of us because I believe we're inherently all able to talk to our loved ones. You know, you don't need a medium, although, you know, sometimes, I mean, I have friends that are mediums, and it's wonderful to be able to hear the validations and the confirmations and hear it from another direction. But I firmly believe we were all born with this ability to connect on many different levels when we're outside of the human body. And so hold on, I'm waiting for them to okay, so what I'm not sure about this, when I heard the name Linda, I'm not sure if Linda's on the earth or Linda's on the other side in the way that they're saying it. So does anyone have a Linda or a Linda that's very strong in connection with?
Lori does. So Lori, could you just type, oh, her daughter, let's see, Claudia says her daughter is Linda. And then Lori says that she does as well. I'm not sure what the relationship with Linda is for Lori though. But Claudia is saying that her daughter is Linda.
Okay. Beautiful hair. Loved your hair.
Claudia, does that make sense? And Lori, I'm not sure. Let's see. There are other people who are saying that, let's see. For Lori, it's not a daughter, but a friend. Michelle is saying her stepmom is Linda. Carla Jump is saying she has a sister named Linda. So Claudia, what about her hair? Is her hair beautiful?
Well, Linda is still alive. She's still with us. She lost her brother.
Okay.
And they were really, really close.
So this is interesting because this does happen sometimes where they're calling out the names of the loved ones. That's why I prefaced it with that I wasn't sure if Linda was on the earth or in the other world.
But he sure loved his hair.
Dark hair?
Yes.
Uh-huh. I just saw dark hair and really a lot of it. Okay, hold on here. So I just heard Linda talks to me all the time.
She does.
And you hear about this too, he says. So he just thought it would be fun to come through and say it to see if it worked.
It does. It does.
And did you know that Linda, has she expressed any interest in mediumship or learning more about?
Oh, yes.
Because
I definitely think she's a candidate there.
Because that's what I'm hearing from my guides, is part of the reason this is coming through is to give her an extra validation.
Awesome.
To head in that direction, and her brother will be helping her with this. So he's what's called a door opener in the other world, meaning that he will help bring the people in.
That's awesome.
I've got goosebumps everywhere. Does anybody else have goosebumps? Sometimes what happens is it's called, for me, clairsentience, and it's clear feeling. And so the body will react when something is truth. So I want you all to know that when something happens to you that's paranormal, or when it is your loved one, or whatever's happening, I always say goosebumps never lie. Okay, so Claudia, what's really interesting is my mom's name is Claudia. That's not a usual name.
No.
Okay, hold on here. Now, do you know who wears his shirt? He's showing me a favorite shirt.
All of us. We have
Like-
shirts of his, yes.
Yes, he's like, where's the shirt? Or you all, okay, yeah, he's showing me a shirt and says, where's the shirt?
Right next to me.
Mm-hmm. And he says, he thinks this is so cool because he can say something and then I say it. He's funny also.
Yes, he was. Yes, he is.
Tell everyone I'm okay.
Good. We know.
And now he's showing me everybody outside. It looks like, are you going to do some sort of like hike or walk, or unless this is a memory that he's showing me, but it's definitely outside. There's a group of people. Do you know what the visual he's showing me?
No, but I do like the great outdoors. So does his sister. And we've done some fun stuff outside together.
Yeah, it looks like it's some sort of a hike. And now also, who like to either kayak or be in the water like that?
Okay. Yes, we've been rafting together, and he enjoyed that very much. Whitewater rafting in the mountains.
Yeah, we've definitely got him. So I believe what he's doing is just showing me memories and pictures of what he loves.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
And that, are you contemplating starting some sort of a scholarship or something in his name?
I wish I had the money.
Well, he's saying something about, okay, hold on here. His sister's going to do something that and this is a little bit further in the future. Now, again, I want to say that everybody has free will, on what they do, but he seems to think his sister's going to take something and create, I don't know if it's a foundation or if it's an outdoor education, but it's going to be something in his name that it's sort of like a scholarship where his name goes forward.
That would be very much along her lines, I think.
And he knows about this, and she's been thinking about it, he says, and he's all for it. And also he says, Mom, she can find money anywhere. You know that.
Yes, yes. That's very true. That's very true. We have to believe that, right?
And one other thing, he's showing me the movie Field of Dreams. Like, if you build it, they will come.
Awesome. Yeah, I say that all the time. Very true.
So he's just confirming that. And also one other thing, he likes to send coins sometimes. So he has fun with this.
Okay.
So, sometimes we've heard them called pennies from heaven.
Yes.
And he just says he's never far away. He's just in another experience, and he's really cool, he wants me to tell you. Everything's cool.
He is. He's a Viking, so.
He's a what?
A Viking.
Ah! Yeah, he's like, everything's cool. That's how he did it.
Good. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. All right. So how would you all like to, and I'll still do some more readings, but what do you think about do we still have time to do a meditation?
We do have some time. Let's see. Right now, we have maybe about 20 minutes left, if that's enough time to do one. Does that sound okay? And I have the music here. When you said that you were going to do the meditation, I ran off and got the speaker because I promised you that I'd have the speaker. So anyway, if you'd like to, does that sound like it would be enough time to do one?
I think we can do one in, one in 10 minutes. I just want to lead you on a quick one, and then there still may be some more messages, if that's all right with you all. Okay.
That sounds wonderful. Let me go ahead and ask you and ask everyone who's in here if the volume of the music is good, because I usually am able to just, oops, keep on. Here we go. Sorry. Well, it's not on my speaker.
Well, if it's not meant to be, how's this? If we don't get the music, then there's no meditation and we keep going.
Oh, it's on.
Okay.
That was weird.
I just, I got a message from my guides that they wanted me to guide you just on a very quick journey. And so let's just all get comfortable for a moment. We've had the other side open to us because they've been speaking to us. But I want to invite you all just to close your eyes for a moment. It's such a hectic world right now. There's so much going on. And just go inward just for a moment here. So to close your eyes and to feel either your feet firmly on the ground, whether you're sitting on a chair, whether you're laying down. Take a deep breath and take another deep breath. And I want you to see a path in front of you. See this beautiful path. And look down and you see your feet. And just start walking down this path. And notice there are flowers to the right. There's a beautiful rose. Just smell that. Take a moment and keep walking on this path. You can see your feet walking in front of you, just putting one foot in front of the other. Up ahead, beautiful trees, almost arching a way for you to walk through. As you walk in to the trees, they're almost like guardians. It's right over you. You look over and notice what animal is there. And just keep walking. Up ahead, you see beautiful bright light. Beautiful light. Keep walking toward the light. It's an open meadow. And as you walk into the meadow, you can see somebody across the way. Start walking toward them as they're walking towards you. Keep walking. They're coming into clearer vision. You recognize them, and they're so happy to see you. I want you to take a moment and see what they have to say. Listen to what they have to say. Exchange a moment. Just peace and calm. Give them a hug. say anything you'd like to say. I want you to know you can meet them in this meadow anytime. It's time to go back to your path, knowing that they're with you, that they're available to you. And start walking toward the trees again. Just putting one foot in front of the other. Noticing the smell of the woods and the trees. Feeling uplifted. Continue walking that path. And slowly, when you're ready, open your eyes. Hmm. Hmm. You know, my guides really wanted to help bring some calm and some peace to you all. And did anybody have an experience?
Would anybody like to maybe put something in the chat box so that we would know, and then maybe you could talk to Tina? Oh, there's 6 new messages here. Okay. Yeah, everybody is saying it was awesome. Oh gosh, it was really hard to turn around and walk away. Thank you. This was beautiful. So calming. Thank you. Thank you. I imagine my dad was there. That's interesting. Yeah, I did. I saw my son. I didn't want to leave. I saw my son and it was hard to leave him. I agree, Nancy. So hard to go back. That meditation traveled through my son's canvas painting exactly. That's interesting for Suzanne. Not sure if it was an experience, but I got extremely hot. My daughter tingles my hands and feet whenever I think about her. I saw my daughter. Yes, so hard to turn around. I saw my beautiful son. I love being with my son. Let's see. I always feel never enough time. Beautiful, thank you, very calming. I loved feeling the peace from my daughter. These are all separate. Daniel was ecstatic and so happy, and he walked back with me. Hugged my son, beautiful, thank you. My son was there. Also, my first dog showed up. Sounds like there's a lot of sons here today anyway, so you got a lot of sons. Thank you. I'll use this for peace. Blessed to have all of you. Thank you. Beautiful exchange of words. My daughter came, gave me a message I know I needed to hear. Thank you. I felt I want to continue meditating to reach out to my 2 sons. That's Anna, all boys. This time, where are the girls? Haha. My son is here too. I spent time with my son. The trees in the meadow were beautiful hugs. McKellar hugged me so tight and reminded me he is always with me. it was so nice. I felt my son there, and we hugged and said how we missed each other. I didn't want to leave. I saw my daughter. She was in tight jeans and had a maroon sleeveless t-shirt and boots I didn't recognize. Wow. So Paula, she's been shopping over there, huh? And then I just found this book of Daniel's pictures that I have never seen before, 10 minutes before the meeting today. This is Cindy. That's amazing. He's a journalist, photographer. That is fabulous. Oh my gosh. So she's holding it up right now, although we see the haboob on the, on the picture, kind of, sort of.
Wow.
My Jacob was there. My daughter and I ran into each other. My son hugged me. So everybody got something from this, Tina, and that was wonderful that you were able to do it. I feel so grateful every time that you're here. It's always just such a huge pleasure to be with you. And I wanted to just quickly say before we break up that I had the really big pleasure of being able to go down to Tucson to introduce Suzanne to you for the first time, Suzanne Wilson. And when we were sitting at a cafe in a kind of a parking lot area outside, we were talking about spirit and talking about Morgan and spirits that Tina had been interacting with. And all of the car alarms started going off in the parking lot. And we all laughed about it. And then we went back to eating. And all of a sudden, all the cars in the parking lot started going off again. It was just hysterical. And so, of course, we said, well, that can't be a coincidence. And I think it happened a third time as well. So it was really exciting to be with Tina and with Suzanne at the same time. It was electric. So anyway, but I don't know. Let's see. Right now, it's 6:19. I don't know if you have any closing words that you'd like to say to us, Tina. You've just been wonderful. Everyone is thanking you in the chat box. And
thank you. Before we go, I just hope that you all feel a little more peace inside. I just want to affirm for you that your children are with you, and to remember when you get the messages, thank you. Keep them coming. And that you are all such a pleasure. Thank you for being so lovely. And I don't know if you all can feel, but can you feel the energy? It's, those are, your children, all the guides, our ancestors, all of our helpers. Remember that there's always help. So when you need it, ask for it. Just thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Tina. This has been absolutely wonderful. I'm so glad that all of you were able to be on here from as far away as India, from Paris as well, from Canada, Newfoundland, all of these different places. We appreciate it so much. And I want to also just tell you all that tomorrow night we have Isabella Johnson coming on as well. I don't know if you know her, Tina, but she is also amazing, and she's also incredibly selfless and beautiful and smiles all the time as well. So if I know that it's hard not getting your own message. I hope that the messages that Tina gave to others during this hour were significant to you as well. And again, we're going to have a lot of opportunities going forward to be able to have readings as well. So thank you. And if you'd like to unmute yourselves and say thank you and goodbye to Tina, that would be wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. This was great.
It's
a blessing to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.